Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow gamers. Lost Decay here again, here to talk about the Sony 2018 E3 press conference. So this show opened up with Shawn Layden thanking everybody for coming and telling what to expect from the conference. Shawn Layden's always a great spokesman at E3. I always enjoy watching him represent Sony. He talked about how they're doing this year's E3 a bit differently than previous years. And really just talked about how they're going to be focusing on the 4 core games that they're making, being Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man for the PS4, and Death Stranding by Kojima Productions. So yeah, let's just get right into how it all started. I'm only going to be covering some stuff from this conference, as there's a decent amount of stuff that I just didn't really care about, and where they did it so differently. It was honestly a really weird conference from Sony, but what they did show was absolutely amazing. Fully satisfied with the Sony E3 press conference. It was just done a little bit differently. So yeah, let's talk about that. So the crowd was inside a giant church tent Sony made for the show that was similar to the one that's actually in the Last of Us Part 2 gameplay trailer. After Shawn Layden stepped off stage, a man came out who played the Last of Us Part 2 theme on a banjo. This drug on for a little bit. Like, honestly, it probably took about 7 or 8 minutes to actually get through the entire theme. But once it was finished, it jumped right into the Last of Us Part 2 gameplay trailer for the first time ever seeing gameplay. And let's talk about that, because it was absolutely mind-blowing. So basically it opened up with Ellie at a church dance party. There was music playing and whatnot, there was people, and there's this new girl. I'm not sure of her name. People do already know her name though, and it seems like her and Ellie have a very intimate relationship. They actually kissed during the trailer, and that was very epic. But she was going on saying about how everybody loves Ellie, how she's such a nice girl and whatnot, and Ellie was kind of just looking around like, yeah, you don't know what the real side of me is like. So yeah, right as they kissed, it went right into what seems to be a flashback scene of Ellie in the woods. It seemed like she was on the run. There was some people trying to, chase after her and kill her and whatnot. So it was just a really good gameplay demonstration of, Ellie trying to avoid these people, killing them the best that she could. And yeah, I mean, it was really epic. It's everything that I expect from The Last of Us Part 2, and I'm fully satisfied. After that part finished, it went back to the future, where it shows Ellie and this girl that she's with dancing and kissing. And then that was it for The Last of Us Part 2 trailer, but absolutely amazing. Cannot wait to see more in that game. A little upset that we never got a release date or anything hinting about a release date, but I'm sure it will be coming likely holiday 2019. So after this, the entire crowd had to get moved. They actually had to move from the church tent that they were in, that Sony made, to the actual showroom for the rest of the presentation. So this took about 15 minutes, so they did like a little 15-minute intermission with some people talking. Shawn Layden was back talking again, and they basically just talked about some other games coming to the PS4. They talked about Call of Duty Black Ops 4, how that's coming, and they talked about some Destiny 2 DLC that's coming. Yeah, I'm not really going to dive into that. I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, and I'm not a big Destiny fan anymore, so we'll just continue on from there. So after the crowd arrived in the actual E3 showroom, we had another man come out, and he played the main theme from Ghost of Tsushima as it went into the first ever gameplay trailer of Ghost of Tsushima, and let me tell you, oh my god. I'm pretty sure this is the prettiest looking game I've ever seen. The color palette in this game is just absolutely astonishing. I really expected it to look this good, but it honestly exceeded my expectations in every single way possible. So yeah, so it just showed what seems to be the main protagonist that we'll be playing as, just kind of going through a field with his horse, and then he just kind of keeps going through the field. Then he goes into the forest. He finds these guys that are killing these other guys, and then he goes and he kills all them. And then he meets up with this girl that he seems to know, who's also a bit of a warrior. She uses a bow and arrow. And then they go up to this, what looks to be like an old temple. It seems that they're going after somebody. Anyway, so the guy, it seems to have some really intense gameplay, almost a little bit like Batman Arkham in a way, with the slow motion 3-piece takedowns and whatnot. There's a grappling hook that you can use that really got me excited, because any game that has a grappling hook, I just love. And then after the temple, he was like fighting the girl because she found someone that she wanted to kill, but he did not want her to kill him. So they basically fought, and then there was an army that was coming after them to fight. The army is their enemy, and then once the army arrived, that was basically the end of the trailer. It just showed him slash his sword, getting ready to fight all the soldiers that were there. Absolutely amazing, though. Again, no solid release date or nothing like that. I'm assuming it's going to be coming sometime in 2019, then we'll probably hear more of it maybe at the Game Awards or PSX. So next up, Sony wowed us with a Resident Evil 2 remake trailer. It looked very, very good, and this is like a full remake too. It's not just like a pretty graphic makeover. I'm not an overly huge Resident Evil fan, but this did look really, really good, so I probably will pick it up. I can't remember if they showed a release date or not. Something's telling me it might be coming in 2018, but don't hold me on that because I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check on that, maybe put it in the description. But yeah, this looked really, really good. The graphics were spot on. It just seems to be like a proper remake. So next they went into Death Stranding. Let's talk about that, because everybody was wondering how this game was going to fare out, what the gameplay was like, what the story is like. We still have absolutely no idea anything to do with the story. We don't know what's going on, but it seemed to show a lot of walking around in the open world. If the game is open world, I mean, like, it seems to be open world. It showed the main character he plays carrying like a lot of stuff around the map, and then it kind of got into some spooky stuff. It got into those like ghostly demon things again that placed their handprints on the ground, and he was really just trying not to get spotted by them. And then next thing you know, another character, we finally saw a female character in the game. She took his hand and told him not to move, basically, and then they were able to escape from the demon things for a sec, and then she just turned around and it really showed her face and who she was. I forget her name, but it's another famous actor. Yeah, Death Stranding looks amazing. This is right up there on my list of games that I'm getting for PS4. I'll be buying this game right away, but again, no solid release date, and I'm gonna assume that it's coming maybe late 2019 or maybe early 2020 at the most. Yeah. So next they had the big granddaddy show of Spider-Man. Spider-Man's released on September 7th, which is only 3 months away. So I'm really, really excited for that. I got the collector's edition pre-ordered for it. They showed a really, really nice trailer of Spider-Man actually infiltrating the raft, and it seems like the villains either escaped the raft or they're attacking it for whatever reason. But yeah, so we get Spider-Man and he's chasing after Electro. Then he goes and he fights all these guys inside of the jail. And then after he fights, you know, probably about 20 or 30 guys, he goes to break through a room, and the next thing you know, Rhino throws this big huge pillar at him. So we see Electro and Rhino. Rhino runs away, Spider-Man chases after him, and then out of nowhere, Scorpion grabs onto Spider-Man. So now we got Scorpion thrown into the mix too. It's really looking like they're going to do a Sinister Six with this game, which has me super, super excited. Then a little explosion went off, Scorpion got away, Spider-Man continued chasing after Electro and Rhino, and then as he was continuously chasing after Electro, you know, he eventually gets outside of the raft again, and he's swinging all over the place, chasing after Electro. There's electricity all over the place, and just the fluidity of this game looks absolutely incredible. The gameplay looks so smooth. So then he eventually knocks Electro down onto part of the raft outside, and then Vulture comes out of nowhere and knocks Spider-Man off of Electro. So now we got Vulture thrown into the mix as well. They eventually make it up onto the rooftop, where it seems to be like a big huge showdown. All the villains come up. Mr. Negative appears out of nowhere too in his helicopter, and they all kick the shit out of Spidey. Like, he gets beat up bad at that part. It seems like he's on his last legs, and they could have actually killed him, but apparently whoever the leader is that told them to go after him said to make sure that they don't kill him. And then it was the very last scene, Spider-Man just looks up, and it seems that there's a new figure that appears aside from Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture, and Mr. Negative, and then he just looks up and he says, "You?" So my best guess is that it's either Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin, and maybe he's not wearing his helmet, or he doesn't have a helmet so Peter recognizes him, or it's Dr. Octopus. I I really do think that it's Norman Osborn because they've already confirmed that he is in the game. But I would be so pumped if it was Dr. Octopus. I hope Dr. Octopus is in this game because he's my favorite Spider-Man villain next to Venom. And yeah, I mean, it was just a really, really incredible trailer. So for the rest of the show, they really just showed like an in-depth dive to gameplay with Spider-Man, and a little bit more on the other games, but that's really pretty much it. It was an incredible show though. They did it a little differently, I'll be honest. I do like the old ways more. It was just a bit more fluid the way they did the old press conferences, but overall I gotta give this press conference a 9 out of 10. It was definitely really, really good. Just the fact that the games that they showed absolutely blew my mind. So I'm really looking forward to playing Spider-Man on September 7th, and looking forward to The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Death Stranding. They're all going to be amazing games, so bravo Sony, thank you very much. Thank you to all my subscribers that are subscribing, and anyone liking and commenting on my videos. I really appreciate that. Later today I'll be covering the Nintendo E3 Direct presentation. This is what I'm the most hyped for. I'm a big Nintendo fan. They're my favorite gaming company. Zelda's my favorite franchise of all time. And Nintendo had an absolutely incredible E3 last year, and their 2017 was just phenomenal. So I mean, this year we got Smash coming, we got Pokemon coming, so it's definitely going to be really exciting. Again, thank you to everyone liking, commenting, and subscribing. And yeah, stay tuned for some more stuff later. Game on.